Yep, I'm still bundled up. And although the sun's out today, so that's nice. Knocking down some of the condensation. I got a haircut since the last time I did a live stream with my face on it. And today we're going to walk to the shop because I want you to keep me accountable. And I want you to call me out on my bullshit. So I'm going to flip the camera around here in a moment. We're going to walk around the shop. If you see anything in the video that you need in your garage and not in my shop, let me know. Pretty much everything is always for sale. And but what this video is about is it's winter. I got a bunch of jobs in here right now where I'm actually disassembling carts and engines, etc. And I've kind of just reached a spot where I'm tired of pulling out folding tables to make more room, etc. So you're going to keep me accountable. You're going to help me remembering to keep the shop clean. So let's flip the camera around. I'll kind of show you what I got going on. And yeah, and again, call me out on my BS. Call me out on social. Call me out on the other Instagram or Facebook and say, hey, how's the shop cleaning coming along, etc. And I won't make an excuse. I might. But it's really going to be, okay, let's see the progress that Extra Kart Parts is making. And there's a number of reasons for this, and I'll get into it once I flip the camera around. But yeah, let's get to it. So over here, earlier, I had the CTS Honda CR80 where I was pulling the engine off, and I was just, talking. And I was talking out loud to a live audience on this channel. But so I have about 3 carts I need to pull the engines off of. As you can see, this engine is sitting on top of one of my solvent tanks. I have 2 solvent tanks. This one is my filthy solvent tank. This one's my clean solvent tank. And I've done this because when I worked over at Sweet Tech, they had the same structure of filthy solvent tank for the, like this type of stuff right here. And then the clean one for a final rinse. And then with the solution I usually rinse it off in the sink as well, hit stuff with WD-40. If it's open, I'll flush it out with gasoline and WD-40. Or what I'll do is if I know it's going to sit for a little bit, I'll grab a 2-stroke oil and put it down the ports. But I forgot a shelf at home, but the plan today is I had a mirror hanging there. I took that down. No big deal. I'm going to have a shelf right above the sink and right above the tanks, the cleaning tanks, so I can put the ultrasonic cleaner, a couple of my catch buckets. So that's going to be there. So I want you to hold me accountable later on. Say, hey, did you get that shelf built? And, oh, my air compressor stuff. I'm on the fence there. With the air compressor, I've noticed that when I put the air compressor on wood blocks or something soft, it quiets everything down because of the vibration. Doesn't quiet down the actual noise, just more of a vibration noise. It gets rid of it. But as you can see, I have my air tools. That's just one of 3 boxes that I have of air tools. That's going to go on a shelf above the air compressor. I have these tanks here. These here are also, it's a different solution that I use for stripping down metal from rust. I'm trying to find something. If you have a suggestion that I could use for carbon, I'm looking for a really good carbon stripper. And I know a lot of guys say, hey, just take a throttle cable or a clutch cable and fray it out and put some nuts on the end. And honestly, that works. What I'm looking to do is, for the most part, with the exception of my buddy Walter, I'm a one-man show, and I'm looking for things that I can let it kind of work on its own and get a nice product. If I have to manually do it, that's one more thing I have to put my hands on. So this blue bin here, that's going to go on the shelf above the solvent tank. The blue bin there, that's where I keep the pipes after I've stripped them down. They're oiled, and then I have those little I don't know what they call them. Those little packets that say "do not eat." I can just show you because all this is going to get moved and organized anyway. My little parts trays. So as I'm working on different jobs, I had the parts trays. Why? Oh, I was about to say why I have this knob. I modified my tumbler. So that was the knob for the tumbler, but I modified it so I can put a large pipe box on it. That's garbage. Looks like somebody was putting their lunch or chili peppers on here. So what I do is once the pipes go through the solution, I put them in here. You can see all those do not eat packets are just sitting in there. I spray this down with WD-40, and although that one looks like it's starting to rust a little bit, so I'll have to go through these. That way those pipes are ready to go. If someone needs a pipe for a particular engine, then I know it's already cleaned. It's ready to go in there. Oh, it's winter. So a prep tip for you for the winter time. I don't know about four-stroke stuff because I only experience I have with four-stroke is going to be the Briggs stuff. And I usually sell the pipes after they get a season on them anyway. But on two-stroke pipes, I do know for sure that, yeah, so you can see how that's stripped down to kind of bare metal. I don't mind cleaning up that much rust because that's just a little boom, bump it with some Scotch-Brite, cleaned up. But inside, you'll notice on two-stroke pipes, once you run them and you let them sit, and it doesn't take very long, it could just be a week or two, it gets this scaling on the inside of the pipe. And what will happen is that scaling, when you go to fire up the engine the next time, a lot of it blows out of the back. Sometimes it could suck into the engine. Now you have this scaling going through your piston and ring. That's not beneficial. And so it's a winter time. It's a good time to pull the pipe off, replace your exhaust springs, replace your exhaust gasket or O-rings or whatever that sealing joint is, replace it. Take the pipe off, clean it up nice and good, clean the inside out, and then rinse it out. What I would do, sometimes I would rinse them out, sounds weird, with water with high pressure to get that anything off on the inside. Then what I would do is spray a lot of WD-40 inside or a similar product, and then I use my air hose and blow everything out. Now, if you do that, make sure you aim the nozzles outside or into a cardboard box somewhere where the spray is getting collected, so it's just not all over your garage or shop or your trailer. But it's wintertime. That's a good winter prep thing. Wrap it up, and then when you go to go race next season, your pipe's prepped. It's ready to go. If you remove the pipe from the engine, make sure you, again, a lot of us have moisture. So make sure you just spray a little gentle mist of WD-40 or something that will repel the water. This is the mess I'm looking at. This is what when I say I'm going to do all the work, but you're going to keep me accountable. This is everything I need to get organized in the next couple of days. And actually, let's say a week, because tomorrow, my daughter has a minimum day. I'm going to pick her up for lunch. And then Saturday and Sunday, I'm going to be out at the track with GFC Karting for their winter camp. So that'll be Saturday, Sunday. So yeah, I already have a half a day today and a half a day tomorrow. And then the weekend's taken. So yeah, going into next week. Keep me accountable though. Shout me out on social media. Find me on under Extra Kart Parts. And say, hey Jason, how's that shop coming along as far as being clean? The CR80 engine I just showed you over on the solvent tank came off of this cart. I don't know what I'm going to do with this cart yet. I'm going to take the seat out. So anything you see in the pictures for sale, that's an extra large tillet seat. That's going to come out. I'll throw that in my seat collection. And the cylinder will get cleaned up. That's going to go in the solvent tank. And what else? A lot of this is going to be parted out. I need to figure out a good way to kind of de-rust the steering shaft or the steering column. But for the most part, this is going to go on on a vertical cart stand, so I could just roll it away, and I'll know it's here, ready to be robbed of parts. Or if I can find the CTS spindles, if you're out there and you're watching and you know where those CTS spindles came from, let me know. Or if I can find something really, really similar, that zinc, that gold zinc plating of the beautiful CTS carts. Yeah, if you have a cart that or extra pedals, long story short, that's going on a vertical stand, is going to go in the corner. Box of parts that came with one of the carts I bought. I need to sort all that. All there's a pipe that can go into my solution. Sorry, orientation. There we go. Yeah, rims, front brakes. Oh, this is probably the box that came with this cart. So I don't know how all that's going to fit. I don't know the condition of the brake system or anything else, but I have a little CTS fetish. There's another pipe. This one, this is the pipe that came off of this cart. And I know that because the tank that was in that cart exploded when I tried to pull it out. Not a big deal. They always crack and explode when they're used. That silencer's garbage. That's going to get thrown away. This actually looks organized right in this little 10 by 10 area. This is a OTK Tony Kart Cadet chassis that is for sale. It's on consignment. As you can see, it has 3 sets of rims. Those are available separately. And so there's 3 sets of rims. When you buy the cart, you can pick the rims that you want with the cart, because the cart is going to come with a set of rims. No, I do not have MXC rims. Those are long gone. But I have the MXJs or MXLs, and then the aluminum ones. I don't know the model number. And I'll have to go back in my notes to look up the difference between MXJ and MXL. But or one of you, a Tony Kart aficionado, will go, oh yeah, they're clearly different. This one has the ribs coming all the way out to the edge. That one just has the ribs on the inner hub or the inner spoke. So yeah, this OTK is for sale. As you can see, the front end is a little bit apart because this was set up for a smaller driver, and we were looking at putting the pedals back to the original position. So that's why that's sitting that way. But brake pressure sensor. So I do have a bunch of Micron stuff for sale. I'm going to pull this off the cart, and that's going to go with the Micron expansion box. Or I could even just sell that separately with the lead. That's brake pressure sensor. But yeah, this is a consignment cart. This is available for purchase. It will not, the way it sits, you cannot put a 4-stroke engine on here because there's not enough clearance between the axle and the crossbar. So this is going to be a 2-stroke only chassis. So for your mini or micro rock or mini or micro Swift. Let's see. Now the real reason for this video. One of my many toolboxes that, as of right now, it's a hybrid of miscellaneous tools I don't use all the time and engine tools. So I'll probably keep it to that. I mean, as you can see, I have some clutch holders and stuff, and SwedeTech Easy Clip tool. That was to push the Easy Clip on and off on the Honda CR125. Plumbing wrenches. Those probably should actually be more at the house than the shop, but the box came from the house. Torque wrenches are in the very bottom. Big ass socket. I don't ever get rid of tools. So I think the only time I will ever get rid of tools is when I actually sell the whole business and I tell myself I either completely want to start over and I'm kind of done working on stuff. But that's probably about it. Otherwise, I always keep tools. It's hard to sell. The rest of this, my Dremel grinder, my multi tool. It's not in the box, so it's not put away because I took this home. That's at the house. I need to get that organized. I do this all the time. You see 4 batteries there. I tested them a couple months ago. I don't remember if these are the good batteries and these are the bad batteries. So again, now I got to do the work twice because I didn't finish a project, but that's going to be part of the organizing. I'm looking at doing either pegboard or probably another shelf above the workbench. And honestly, I'm thinking about resurfacing this workbench once it's all clean. And maybe it'll become something that I can move out of the shop when I vacate. And it's just a bench with a bunch of stories. I don't know. Maybe I can paint the edge here or put a piece of sheet metal across the front. And you're probably wondering, why would I do that? Honestly, I think it's kind of cool where you walk into an old shop and there's a bunch of old stickers on it, like a bunch of kart stickers. I was over at a shop yesterday, and in the toolbox, it had a bunch of badges inside the toolbox from the 90s. It was from NorCal Region 11 IKF races and club races, all in NorCal. And the toolbox had a bunch of just badges of all the races that toolbox entered or participated in. It was cool. So I think that's what I'm going to do here. I'm going to surface the top of the bench. When I say surface it, I really mean I'm going to just have a thin piece of plywood that goes over the top to get rid of all of these little gaps so hardware is not falling in between. And I think I am going to do that. I think I'm going to do a piece of sheet metal on the front right here, so I can start putting stickers on there. And then, like I said, once I vacate this shop, I could take the bench with me, and who knows, maybe 20 years down the road, my daughter will have this bench at her house, and she'll go, I don't know what I'm going to do with my dumb dad's bench, but it is kind of cool. As a kid, I remember all those stickers getting put on the face there. So I think that's what I'll do. But I need to organize it first. So as you can see, I've got drill bits everywhere. How many drill bits do I need? This is because I have a drill bit box, not this one, because every time I do a buyout, there's always a set of drill bits in there, and they're always missing the 5/16 and the common sizes, or they're so dull they don't work. But so I just have a huge drill bit box. I put all these boxes in. Some of you might say, just get rid of them. Honestly, so some of the reasons I kind of collect all this stuff is once I get my toolboxes completely built out and separated, I'd like to have all these extra tools just to, to be able to give away to a new karter or, a young kid that's trying to learn how to mechanic on stuff. I think it'd be kind of cool just to, have a miscellaneous set. I don't know what drill bits go for anymore. But if I can save somebody $20, $30 at a time and start adding to their tool collection, and then they can just replace whatever they need or buy as needed, perfect. But that's why I keep that stuff. I have another box I'll show you. That's that box there. It's a bunch of sockets that I really don't have immediate use for, but they're all very redundant. Let's see, that's 21, 18, 19, 18, 15, 13 sixteenths. So this is mixed metric and American. Again, and then these are 1/2-inch drive. So again, I've been saving these just in case I run across someone motivated that maybe doesn't have the budget to go out and buy a bunch of tools. I can say, here you go. Here's some tools. And yeah, I remember I was talking to a friend. We've been we realized we've known each other for 30 years because of karting. And I know a lot of people along the way, um, a lot, just randomly, hey, here, have this, here, take this. Or I've watched them do it with somebody else. And hopefully I can get myself to a point in the business where I can do it on a more regular basis. Again, help out that new generation of carter or mechanic, kind of get going. But that's a rant. That is part of the organizing. Again, this area here, I need to probably do something on this cart, get it on a vertical stand like that cart is on a vertical stand, so everything I can roll around. These pipes need to go find a new home, not on my workbench. My grinder, I need to have a little bit of a shroud area so I don't blast grindings all over. I just put this speaker here the other day because I had other stuff plugged into it, and that probably needs to be on a shelf above the workstation so it's not taken up. This is an empty toolbox that will probably go back into my race trailer or for sale. Same with that toolbox, race trailer or for sale. Tires are always for sale. But again, what am I, sorry, I didn't see this come through. What am I building? Depends on at what point you ask that question. I am in the karting market or karting world, karting industry. So I primarily unbuild. I primarily buy carts and parts. I part them out and I sell them online. That's my primary business. However, this particular cart here, this one's sold. We're waiting on some hardware for a 50 millimeter conversion. This cart's going to get stripped all the way down, and we'll do a quasi restoration. I'm not a restoration type guy, but it'll be torn all the way down, cleaned, maybe repainted, hardware inspected and replaced as needed. The rear axle has a 40. We're switching it over to a 50. This cart is going to end up with a TMKZ engine on it. So that's what the customer wants. So that's what that one's going to get. And many of you that have watched this channel many times have seen this cart a lot. Unfortunately, my buddy's getting screwed because he said, take your time, no rush. My brain goes, okay, I forgot about it. That's just how my brain works. My brain, I always have to be busy with something. So if it's something that's tinkering that's going to take a lot of time, I generally push it off until I have to rush. So unfortunately, that's the category of this cart. But it's, again, my buddy's cart, he bought it. We're going to put a TM engine on it. I have the TM engine already. And 50 mil axle. And yeah, so that's going to get torn down, cleaned up, all that fun stuff. This is my little mobile rolling tool bench. Not really a workbench because it's lightweight, so you can't hammer on it or anything else. But I adapted a utility cart with a bigger wood top, and I generally have this sitting between two carts, and I have the tools for two carts. But as you can tell, I just explained to you, I usually do a job when I absolutely have to do it, and I'm rushing. And I always get the job done. Unfortunately, that's how my brain works. So this still has parts on it from, remember that drift trike that I put an electric start on? Yeah, that's the flywheel. That was the original clutch that came off of it. That was garbage. And you know what? I should just throw this stuff in a steel bin, let someone recycle it. But part of me was thinking, you know what? I enjoy knowing how everything works, but not just, oh yeah, there's springs. As it spins, it opens. I actually like to really break down the stuff and go, okay, well, what kind of different springs can we do to improve why this clutch burned up? Because the customer only had about 30 minutes on it. he bought a brand new drift trike, had about 30 minutes on the drift trike before this clutch failed. And honestly, it could just be an Amazon knockoff cheap ass clutch. And the service life was 30 minutes. But who knows? But it's still here because I haven't decided what I want to do with it. Or if someone goes, hey, I'll give you $5 for that thing, I'll mess with it. That's fine, $5. Yeah, so that needs to get cleaned. Yamaha generator. This is my buddy's. And he couldn't get it running. And of course, I'm a know-it-all. And I said, oh, I can fix that. I was thinking, oh, it just needs a new carburetor. Boom, change the fuel, put a new carb on it, maybe a new fuel pump, have it fired up in 30 minutes. Yeah, no. It gets fuel. The fuel pump pumps fuel all the way to the carburetor. Fuel goes through the carburetor. And it fires and shuts off, fires and shuts off, fires and shuts off. So for those of you out there that know what you're looking at, he also told me he put fresh oil in it. And I double checked. It was empty. And I called him up and said, hey, man, you said you put fresh oil in this thing. I did. It had fresh oil in it. I go, no, it's empty. I filled it up. Long story short, started messing with it. Still the same problem. It'd fire up and then shut off. Fire up, shut off. I went, F this project. I'll come back to it tomorrow. This was 3 weeks ago. I'll come back to it tomorrow. And I walked into the shop. I had this assembled. I didn't have it all apart. I had it assembled, sitting on a towel on top of this bench. There was oil all over the floor. So, my buddy did not lie to me. My buddy did put oil in the engine. There was a leak at the bottom. And after pulling everything apart, the only thing I could really see, there was a little bit of a trickle somewhere in this area. And this sensor, the oil level sensor. So I pulled it all apart. That's why we're here. Then I noticed, oh, the O-ring it actually looks deformed. And some of you, yeah, right there. You see how it's kind of flat? So it's deformed. I don't know if somebody else previously pulled this apart and then stuck it back together and flattened it, but it doesn't matter. It leaked all my oil out all over the floor. And the reason it's in this position here is I haven't went online yet to look to see exactly how this sensor works so I could test it before I put everything back together, because this is at the very bottom of the generator and completely encased in this plastic. So I need to go online. How do I test this sensor to make sure the sensor is good before I put it back together? Because as many of you know, if the oil level sensor is bad or there's no oil in it, they don't run. So I'm thinking that's the problem. Maybe it's a combination of a bad sensor and a carburetor. But like I said, we have fuel to the carburetor. The fuel pumps work. La-di-da-di-da. Another project. That needs to get cleaned up and fixed. What else do we have? My dad's cart. This is my dad's cart. This one's actually ready to hit the track. I pulled the carburetor off just to do maintenance because it had fuel in it. But yeah, this one's actually ready to go. This CTS engine needs to come off because for my engine building friends, I don't need a feeler gauge to know that's FUBAR. So I need to pull the cases apart. I'm hoping it's something simple. If not, then I got to call my buddy Rainey over at Sweet Tech and say, hey, I need a bottom end rebuild. Or if it's worse than that, if the cases are actually damaged, then I'll have another parts engine, which will be unfortunate. So, yep, that's coming apart. And then many of you have seen this cart many times. I'm hoping today this engine is off and pulled apart to see what condition it is in. All this will come off. The chassis is for sale. It's an NKT chassis. I I want to get this off the cart stand today or tomorrow morning up against a wall. But that's for sale. But yeah, that's back to the video. Your job is to keep me accountable. Your job is to say, Jason, how is the organizing coming along? Jason, how is that bench coming along? Did you get your sheet metal on the front? Did you get the top resurfaced? That is your job. And I won't think it's a pain or anything else because I'm telling you to do that. And as I'm looking at the bench here, I'm noticing I'll have to do a quick rip down the edge because some of these 2x6s are hanging over. Yeah, so I'll do a quick rip so that's nice and even. Then I'll put the sheet metal on there. Should I do a sheet metal cap? Should I right here? Should I do it where it rolls over? I don't want to have a sheet metal top. And the reason is I know it's easier to clean, but I want to have a wood top because that way if any oil or anything gets on it, it gets some character by soaking up the oil. But the other reason is I want this to be a soft surface in case I'm pulling an engine down and I'm not putting it directly on steel or a metal top. Plus, if you have to hammer stuff, metal is just loud and tingy. But yeah, that's that. So once again, keep me accountable. I'm not showing you the other projects. This is for the next couple days. Keep me accountable on this stuff, okay? That's your job. And let me respond back to, is that BN Shetty? Let's see. Oh, maybe I can't do it from here. I thought I could. I should be able to. Why can I not? Nope, start a poll. Should I? I'll do that in the next video. Nope. Get rid of that. Thank you. Why? No. Huh. That's weird. Well, it doesn't matter because I'm going to wrap this video up anyway. I need to look into chat and how I can get back and respond on chat. But keep me accountable. Let's clean the shop together. You remind me and I'll just keep working. And we'll talk to you soon. If you enjoy the videos, hit subscribe. If there's other videos you want to see or other content you want to see, let me know if there's other content. And try to keep it karting related because I'm a kart shop and I buy and sell karts. And the next video will either be something specific on a how-to, something I ran across, or the shop is organized and clean. So tune in. Thank you for joining. Thank you for chatting, and talk to you guys soon.